all over the mainstream media today, and they're all claiming to be experts, and I can guarantee they are not. We're streaming, we are on YouTube as well. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Right, okay. I am here to set some records straight, to lay it on the line about Afghanistan, to lay it on the line about NATO, to let people know that, you know, people are looking at what Donald Trump said about NATO, and it's all a storm in a teacup. Donald Trump did not mean that British troops did not fight on the front line in Afghanistan. Donald Trump did not mean Canadian troops did not fight on the front line in Afghanistan. Donald Trump did not mean there's NATO, like the real members, and then there's like NATO, the like members, all right? And I can, look, guys, and I'll be quite clear, the whole of the internet, right? The whole of the internet. How big's the internet? I don't know. How big's the internet? It's pretty big, right? It's pretty big, the internet. And I am, oh, let me put the chat on, sorry. And I'm putting it to everyone, and I'm putting myself out there. Call me out if you think what I'm saying about Afghanistan is wrong. Subject matter experts, colonels, generals, politicians, leading military experts. If you think what I'm saying is wrong about Afghanistan, please call me out. Please call me a liar. I'm putting it to you that Trump is right. NATO troops did not go on the front line. He's not talking about the British troops, okay? I promise you, Donald Trump is not talking about British. He's not talking about Canadian. He's not talking about Australian, although I don't even know if Australia, I don't think Australia is a member of NATO. He's not talking about Australia. He's not talking about any troops from New Zealand. Did we have any Kiwis with us? I don't think we did, but whatever. Okay, who Donald Trump is talking about is the NATO members like Luxembourg. Like, honestly, and I touched on this earlier on the live stream. I did a short live stream on this because I was absolutely furious. People have taken this out of context, okay? Let me give you the context because I do actually know what I'm talking. Do you know what? Bullshit. There is no other expert on the internet, right? Do you know what, guys? I'm calling it now. I am the leading expert on YouTube, and you guys on TikTok. I will be closing you guys down shortly. Nobody knows more about this conflict than I do. I promise you that. Certainly nobody on YouTube. Certainly nobody on TikTok. Certainly nobody that does a live stream every day, 10 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the evening. And certainly nobody who did 10 gym sessions this week. No, absolutely not. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today, ladies and gentlemen. Trump is right. NATO troops did not go on the front line in Afghanistan. British forces absolutely did. But that's not who he was addressing, okay? That's not who he was addressing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you guys the mainstream media, what the mainstream media are saying about this. And then I'm going to tell you the real ground truth. Do you know why? Because it's been like over 10 years now, Afghanistan. All my non-disclosure agreements are void. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can tell you guys the real truth about what happened on the ground in Afghanistan. I can tell you who would come and bail you out. I can tell you who would shirk off responsibility. I can tell you who had no helicopters. I can tell you who you just did not trust in a firefight. You don't want those guys in a firefight near you. And I will say to you guys, Donald Trump is getting his information clearly from Pete Hegseth, and Pete Hegseth will have been in Afghanistan, and he has Afghanistan experience. And any U.S. military that have been in Afghanistan, anybody that says the British did not get involved, you know, they're just wrong. They're just absolutely wrong. So for context, and I'm going to throw a bit of Ukraine in here as well. Okay, so for context, the conflict in Afghanistan, the 20-year conflict in Afghanistan, that took the lives of 457 British forces, basically. Now, what people don't talk about is the private military contractors, the basically British people in Afghanistan working for the British government, embassy staff, I don't think many diplomats did do it. I don't even know. British contractors, basically security contractors. A shit ton of security contractors died in Afghanistan. That is nobody talks about these. Why? Because those numbers seem to not count. But look, those guys were getting pop stars wages, so let's not worry. Do you know what? Let's worry about them because they have families as well. They have wives, they have kids, they have families, they have hopes, they have aspirations, as do all of us. We do all have hopes and aspirations. I'm going to say this right now, okay? 457 British forces died in Afghanistan. That's the official number, and that is the true number. Now, for each one of those people, you have statistically, look, guys, I definitely know what I'm talking about here, 100%. I am a subject matter expert on this, right? 457 people. For every one of those people that died, statistically, you have 7 people with life-changing injuries, missing a leg, missing an arm, brain damage, post-traumatic stress, so the toll was high. I know that Donald Trump did not mean British troops. He didn't mean Canadian troops. He didn't mean Australian troops. It didn't mean I'm trying to think if there were. I can remember. So when I was in Afghanistan, I was in the I worked. I worked for I was in a unit that I cannot name nor comment, but we worked under the Special Forces Command Group. Now, it was JSOC, so it's Joint Special Forces JSOC, Joint Special Operations, Joint Special Operations. It was definitely JSOC. I don't even know what it is, but anyway, we worked for JSOC. There were definitely Americans, definitely Brits, because I can remember the camouflage, because when you're doing these briefings and you do these planning operations, and this is why I'm able to give you guys such granular analysis of what's happening right now, because I've done all that shit, right? I've done all that shit, and I'm still hitting 10 for 5. So I can definitely remember seeing people walking around in American BDUs or that Tricam, whatever they had. I can definitely see British military walking around because I was British military. And I can definitely see Australian military walking around. I don't even know what New Zealand operations were, but I know we had Kiwis. Sorry, not Kiwis. Is it Kiwis? We had people from New Zealand attached to us. So look, there's a lot of stuff going on the internet right now. Keir Starmer doesn't know what he's talking about. I can guarantee you. Right, I'm going to jump onto this, guys. I'm just going to jump onto this. If you've not done so already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share my shit. Because I've got a leaky roof. Right? I've got a leaky roof, and that shit needs to be repaired, okay? My leaky roof needs to be repaired, okay? So for those of you guys who've not become members, make sure you become members, because all that money, you guys could become members. It helps to repair my leaky roof. Do you guys want me to sit here with a leaky roof? Do you guys really? Do you really want me to sit here with a leaky roof? I don't know. I hope you don't. Right. Let me continue. So the news of the day, the news that's out on the mainstream right now is, and you know what? I'll share this with you guys real quick, and then we'll come on to it. And then, do you know what I'm going to do as well? I'm going to show you. You know where all the migrants are right now in the United Kingdom? They've all been moved to this place called Crowborough. Is it Crowborough? Honestly, I've never been to Crowborough. I looked at Crowborough on Google Maps. What a beautiful little place. What a beautiful little Middle-earth place Crowborough is. There's a little pub called Henry VIII, or is it Henry VIII? Henry VIII. It's absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, we have gone to the absolute dogs. We have, guys. We've gone to the dogs. Right, let me share this with you. So this is what I'm going from now. Starmer says Trump's claim UK troops stayed off Afghan front line, insulting and frankly appalling. Okay, so if you've heard Donald Trump's speech, he doesn't say that at all. He does not mention UK troops at all. He mentioned NATO troops, and he's not referring to UK troops at all. I know this because I know, trust me, I know through various group chats that some people may say that British military and American military work very closely together in Afghanistan. So at special forces level, and at special forces level, you only answer to your head of state. You don't fuck around with like generals and colonels and shit. You only answer to head of states. That's how special forces shit works, right? And I know that I know that Donald Trump did not mean British military. He's talking about the other NATO members. So I'm going to read this article because it's fascinating how the media have blown this up. And you guys on TikTok, I'm going to close you guys down very soon. Do you know why? Because I want to get myself a carbonated drink that's made with hops, grain, yeast, and it's carbonated afterwards. Although I do think I need to invest in a pressurized fermenter. Right. Starmer says Trump's claim UK troops stayed off Afghan frontline is insulting and frankly appalling. First of all, Keir Starmer doesn't know. Keir Starmer doesn't know what he's talking about. Right? We've all seen Keir Starmer on the punch bag, right? He doesn't know. So first of all, somebody is telling him what to say, right? The mother of a veteran who suffered horrific injuries condemns US president's comments as the ultimate insult. Again, I mean, no disrespect. And the reason I'm doing this video, right, is to calm everyone down. I guarantee everybody Donald Trump does not mean UK forces. He doesn't mean Canadian forces because, you know, he doesn't mean Australian because they were fighting on the front line. And I've got more experience than most doing fighting on the front line in Afghanistan. Trust me, guys, I have. So the big diversions, remember, look, guys, it's all pomp and pageantry. It's all show. It's all, you know, it's all smoke and mirrors, right? If you guys have been following me for a while, maybe 2 years ago, I said you will see this diversions now where the United States are going to go into the Middle East, Iran, and the United Kingdom are going to fight in Europe. Afghanistan. That's what we're talking about. Ukraine. And to do that, it's divide and conquer, but the opposite way. You don't want to divide your troops yourself. So now it looks like there's a spat between Britain and America. It looks like, oh, the British and the Americans, they're falling apart. Trust me, guys, Britain and America are not falling apart. But Keir Starmer has said that Donald Trump's claims, first of all, it's fucking ridiculous because Donald Trump did not claim British troops were not fighting on the front line. He said NATO, and he's absolutely right to say that. You've got to understand the context, all right? You know how you can tell someone to fuck off and you can tell someone to fuck off and they're totally different contexts, right? If it's your friend. So Sir Keir Starmer has said that Donald Trump's claims British troops did not fight on the front line in Afghanistan were insulting and frankly appalling. First of all, Keir Starmer doesn't know what he's talking about and suggested he should apologize. I don't think DJT apologizes to anyone, and I wouldn't because what I think, look, guys, I genuinely, this is one of those things, I don't know what the chat's like right now. I don't know if I'm going to lose followers. I really don't. I don't know if I'm going to lose followers, but I can guarantee I've lost more friends in Afghanistan than maybe most of you. In fact, you know what? I'm going to say all of you. I am. I'm going to say I've lost more friends in Afghanistan than all of you. I've done more combat operations in Afghanistan than all of you. All right. And I don't mean to be a dick when I'm saying, in fact, you know what? I'm going to be saying some cuss words. So you guys on TikTok, I'm going to close you guys down. I'm going to close you guys down now, actually, because I'm going to get a carbonated drink. See you guys later on TikTok. I will be on you. I'm continuing this live stream for maybe another hour or something. I'm on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven One on YouTube, and I hope to see you there. And if not, don't worry. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10. Right, let's close these guys down. Let's close these guys down. Where are they? Where they're going down? They are going down. Yes, they are. Right, let's see if I can do this without my finger. Oh, that was a big one. Right. So I'm going to read this, right, because it's absolutely been blown out of proportion. And you can see the media machine. Remember, the media is owned by the government because they want to see this fake diversions. And I'll keep saying that there is no diversions. United States and the United Kingdom are very much in lockstep. So veterans and their families, as well as MPs from all parties, have reacted with fury as the US president said. This is what he said. He didn't say British, he said NATO. Said NATO troops stayed a little off the front lines. Guys, he's absolutely right. Whatever you want to say about Trump, whatever you want to say about him dodging the draft in Vietnam, that's all true. You know, that did happen. But what is also true, you know, let me just Google NATO countries in alphabetical order. List NATO countries. Give me a second. Right. In alpha, I've just said it. Right. Okay. Right. Oh, that's fantastic. Right. Okay. Okay. Jesus. Honestly, this is ridiculous. This is so absurd. It's so absurd. Look, guys, I've not even looked at the. I've not even looked at this yet. I don't know how many people are watching this live stream because I'm looking at other stuff. So NATO members are NATO member countries. At present, NATO has 32 members. These countries, called NATO allies, are sovereign states that come together through NATO to discuss political answer. Honestly, it's BS. It's absolute BS. So we've got, I don't even know how I'm going to do this. How I'm going to do this. So we've got 32. I'm just going to run through them, right? I'm going to run through them. Albania, like, honestly, right? Do you know what? Right? Do you know what? I look, guys, I'm doing this in real time, okay? When I say these countries, I want you to think. When I say this country, I want you to think of, first of all, I want you to do two things. When I say a country, I want you to think, what do you think of when you think of that country, right? And then, when was the last great military operation by that country? And do you know what? Three things. And when was the last special forces, daring special forces operation by that country, right? Okay. Albania, Belgium, Bulgaria, Canada, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg. Honestly, some of these countries are embarrassing. Montenegro, North Macedonia. What do they do? I don't even know where North Macedonia is. Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Netherlands, Turkey. Where was that? Honestly, United Kingdom and Canada. Honestly, there's 3 countries on there, maybe 4. I'll go with 3. There's 3 countries on there. There's 3 countries on there: Canada, United Kingdom, and the United States. They're the only countries I would give time of day to. Albania, like, honestly, and I clearly don't mean any disrespect to any Albanians, doing this as they're coming over on the boats. But Look at the crime rate in the United Kingdom and look at the amount of Albanians, right? Honestly, guys, I promise you, I've spent like 3 operational tours in Afghanistan. A year and a half of my life was in Afghanistan. It was in Kandahar. Just of a show of hands, who spent, anyone in the chat, who spent a year and a half in Kandahar? And of those people, who spent that working through UK Special Forces? I don't know which is the Joint Special Forces, which is the British, Canadian, American. I'm definitely, and the Australians were there as well, but they're not a member of NATO. So Albania, what do you think about when you think of Albania? Personally, I think of criminals, right? That's what I think of, Albanian criminals. Okay, right, fair enough. Belgium, what do you think of Belgium? Beer, fantastic beer, fantastic beer. The Belgians create fantastic beer. Bulgaria, I don't know what I think of. Croatia, no idea. Czech Republic, what do I think of a Czech Republic? The Charles Bridge, right? The Charles Bridge. Denmark, a smoke and a pancake. Estonia, yes, Estonia did have, not in Kandahar, I think it was in Bagram. Yeah, so Bagram Air Base, which is just north of Kabul. The Estonians, they were in Bagram. Was it Bagram? I don't know. It might not have been Bagram, actually. I don't know. I think it was Bagram. But the Estonians had a little, it definitely was Bagram. The Estonians had a little bar. They did. They had a little bar. You could go there. You could listen to some techno music. And you could have some beers. They didn't do any operational stuff. Finland, I don't even know if they went to France. What do you think of when you hear when you think of the French military? You literally think of like white flags and stuff, don't you? And cheese and garlic. That's what you think of when you think of French. Germany. What do you look? I'm just going to skip that one, right? I'm going to skip that one. But like, there's a lot of countries here who did not contribute. All right. Donald Trump is not talking about Canada. He's not talking about the United Kingdom. And he's certainly not talking about the United States. Every one of them, Luxembourg. When was the last time there was a daring hostage rescue by Luxembourg Special Forces? Anyone? When was the last time North Macedonia fought and won a war? When was the last time, guys? When was the last time? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I don't look, guys, I've not even looked at the chat yet. I don't know how this live stream's going. I really don't. But what I can say is I am 100% a subject matter expert on Afghanistan, the war in Afghanistan, the war on terror, more than anybody, like 90% of the stuff I know about this conflict, I can't even talk about. All right. And for a US president to come out and say NATO members did not get involved on the front line in Afghanistan, he's clearly not talking about Canada. He's clearly not talking about the United Kingdom. And obviously he's not talking about the United States, but all the rest of them, Turkey, Netherlands, Sweden, Spain, Slovenia, Slovakia, Romania, Portugal, Poland, Norway, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Montenegro. What the fuck? North Macedonia. That's my favorite one. I don't even know where that is. Latvia, Italy, Iceland. You know, like honestly, maybe the Germans. I know the Germans did have quite a lot of people out there, and I know Denmark did as well. But the reality is they don't have that combat experience. They don't have that combat lineage. They don't have that force projection capacity. They don't have it, guys. It's all well and good, you know, you guys thinking you're so, you know, these guys are fantastic, and that's fine, you know. You want to talk about Vikings and, you know, like, you know, men from Finland who are huge, men from Iceland, they're huge. Just because you are big and you've got massive muscles does not give you combat experience. It does not give you combat competency. So I'm throwing it out there right now for everyone. I am, for absolutely everyone. I don't believe for 1 second that Donald Trump is talking about, you know, us in the United Kingdom. And there's a lot of people out there on the internet right now. There's a lot of people on the internet right now throwing like fake juju at the United States. The United States are oh, hang on. Right, I'm jumping on the chat right now. Lisa Jane has sent a £20 super to help the roof repairs. Lisa Jane, thank you so much for the £20 super to help with the roof repairs. Guys, do you guys want me to be doing live streams when I've got a leaky roof? Honestly, like, so I'll tell you why I'll go on to this. This is for you, Lisa Jane. This is all for you, Lisa Jane, with your beautiful blonde hair and blue eyes. Hang on. Emma Jane, that task has been complete. I used to remove him all the time. I'm just going to keep removing him from now on. He was all right for a bit. I'm just going to keep removing him. So Lisa Jane, sorry, not Lisa Jane. Emma, I've removed Theodore. He's on a tightrope anyway. He's gone. Right. So just for you guys' context, right? When I built my extension, right, I built it with an what's the word? Slanting roof or whatever. Part of it has a slanting roof, and then it goes down into a flat roof. Now, my initial, what I wanted to do initially was I wanted to have an observatory, you know, like one of the white observatory things where you roll back the thing, you've got the telescope. That's what I wanted. Like I ran out of money. I massively ran out of money. I underestimated everything. Like if you're estimating the cost of something, whatever you think the cost is, times it by 3. Literally, and that's the cost. So when I was building this extension, like there, up in the roof, I made it flat. And if anybody's ever got a flat roof, they're a nightmare. So I made that bit flat because I wanted to put an observatory up there. I just ran out of money. But Lisa Jane, with your £20 super, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Right, I am pitched. Yes, pitched roof. That's what it's called, pitched roof. Thank you for keeping me on track, ladies and gentlemen. April Lee is saying, "What's?" Oh, right, yeah, yeah. Right, he's gone. Don't worry, guys. I don't even know what was said on the chat. I just removed him real quick. He was gone. He's gone. He's finished. He's not going back. Some people just can't deal with it. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm jumping on here, and I'm going to say this again before I jump onto the mainstream. Right. Donald Trump has come out and he has said that NATO troops did not get involved on the front line in Afghanistan. And he is absolutely right. They fucking didn't. I'm a veteran of Afghanistan more than most. I mean, some people go to Afghanistan, you know, and not everybody that goes to Afghanistan sees frontline activity. I saw a shitload of it. I did. I saw a load of frontline combat experience in Afghanistan. And what I will tell everybody, earlier on, I was doing the live stream, and I'll give you the anecdote as well. So I don't want to keep rehashing things. So I want to move on to other things. Earlier on, I was talking on the live stream, and I was saying my experience of Afghanistan is vast. It's massive. Like 80-90% of the stuff I've done in Afghanistan, I can't talk about. And look, I'm opening myself up. All this is public, right? Anybody who wants to call me out and call me a Walter Mitty, put it on, you know, literally put it on there, and we'll talk about it. This one incident, okay? I was in Afghanistan. We was in an absolute gunfight. It was like a massive gunfight. There was a lot of shooting. Everybody was shooting. We was running low on ammunition. We was running real low on ammunition. And so we called in our air support. Now, for that particular mission, we had Italian air support. And look, guys, if you've ever been in a gunfight, and I don't know if you have, but if anyone's ever been in a gunfight and you start to lose that gunfight because you're running low of ammunition and you're in a village and you're outnumbered, like maybe there's like 300-400 of them, and you're like, whoa. This is why I always say numbers count. Numbers do count. Yes, NATO forces are better trained. They can hit things that the other guys can't. But when they keep coming, all right? And you run out of ammunition eventually. So, the guy got on the radio, the fast air controller, and he's calling in the air support, right? We had two fast jets. I don't know what they were. Italian fast jets, all right? The Italian fast jets were flying, all right? I think it was 10,000 feet. And the Italian fast jets were not allowed to come below 10,000 feet. I think it might have been 5, I don't know. But there was cloud cover, right? So imagine the scene. Me and all the guys are in a gunfight, right? People shooting at us, we're shooting at them, we're running low on ammunition. They've got like that's where they live, right? They've got a shit ton of ammunition. Running low on ammunition, and we heard on the radio as well that they were getting reinforcements from another village, and these guys are closing in little buses and taxis. So we're like, fuck, if we don't get out of here quick, we are going to the candy shop and we ain't going to be spending all we got. So frantically on the radio, we're trying to call in air support, right? And the Italian pilots would not go down below whatever their service ceiling was. So it was a bad day, right? We had air support, but so it was pointless. It was absolutely pointless. So the next thing we said was, right, okay, well, can you fire your missiles at this grid? I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, Oh no, we need to be able to visually confirm the target before we release munitions. So like, what are you even doing there? Why? And it was just like, look, and this is my experience. This is real experience, right? So I can guarantee what Trump is saying is right. Those pilots in their fast jets at 10,000 feet would not come down and help us out. It was bad. It was real bad. All right. Because we're British, right? Because we're British, and we come together to produce something that is greater than the sum of our own parts. The next thing we heard on the radio was, I can't remember the call sign, but it was basically our own helicopter, our transport helicopters. They'd been listening to the gunfight on the radio. Right? So you can imagine the scene, right? We're all down on our belt buckles, like trying to conserve ammunition. The bad guys are getting closer. The Italians are like swirling around above us, like drinking coffee or doing whatever. All right. And then the next thing on the radio, you get the Chinook pilots calling it in. They're saying, yeah, hello, I don't know. Hello, Bravo 14. This is Yankee 26. We will be at your location in figures 5. So like, what does that even mean? So the next thing, right, through the cloud base, 2 CH-47 helicopters came in like at maybe about 500 feet. And if anybody's ever seen the ferocity of one mini-me machine gun firing 7,000 rounds per minute with tracer, it's phenomenal, all right? Try that times 4, because both door gunners were hosing shit down. You had an MG240 on the back and motherfuckers out the side windows just putting rounds down galore. So that was our air support. We managed to get, we managed to find get back the initiative. We managed to extract with our prisoners and get away with no casualties. So and that, look, guys, that's just something like, that's a one of many. So when people talk about, like, when people talk, oh, hang on, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That's what I meant to do. So when people talk, you've got a lot of fake news at the moment about what Donald Trump said. And April sent a 199 super. I'm assuming that's for the roof. I'm assuming that's for roof repairs. So when you get these people coming on the internet, right, and they're saying, and they're making stuff up, you know, they're literally making stuff up about what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump is absolutely right. All right. NATO troops in general, not British, not Canadian, did not get involved in the front line. And I have first-hand experience of that. I do. I have first-hand experience of that. And nobody can call me out on that. And anybody who wants to call me out on that, I genuinely challenge you. Honestly, I challenge you. When the British military were in a shit fight, all right, and they needed extraction, who did they call? And this is truth. The British military, in general, didn't want to risk their helicopters going into a hot DZ. So the Americans would go out there and they would take them. So equally, when you're talking about JSOC, Joint Special, what is it? I don't even know what JSOC stands for. Joint Special Operations Command. Joint Special Operations Command, yeah. When you talk about JSOC in Afghanistan, which was based in Kandahar, target packs. So you build up these target packs and you do this operational. Do you know what? I can't even go into that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get on some chat. What's going on here, Sean? Zoidini is saying, and Sean me seems a very spiritually protected man. I don't know. What does that mean? Zoidine, tell me how I'm a spiritually protected man. I don't know. I do feel I'm protected. Sean, you really need to stop. Right, Theo's gone. He's gone. Theo is gone. And anytime I see Theo jump back up, guys, you don't need to say anything. I'll be putting him in. I will be putting Theo. I'll be putting Theodore 1488 into. He will be in permanent ban. He will. He's in permanent ban, guys. Silly Gallardi is saying, I love Trump. And thank God he was elected, but he cannot say anything that crosses his mind all the time. I don't know whether that's in context to Silly. I'm assuming you're talking about his look. You know, I'll be quite clear. Listen. The reason I'm doing this live stream, like again, I did this earlier on. I talked about this earlier on because I was so furious about it. The reason I'm doing this live stream again is because Donald Trump did not mean British or Canadian forces. He was talking about the other NATO members. And I promise you, I mean, just the little, do you know what? Let me Google this. Right, so look, I just Googled, right? So look, I'm doing this in real time, right? Okay, so I looked at a list of NATO members. You know, I'll share it. You know, I will actually share this with you because that's how I roll. Okay, so I was looking at a list of NATO countries, right? And the first thing that jumped up was, a list of NATO countries in alphabetical order. So I jumped on here, right? And these are the countries, right? Like, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, these have got tin pot militaries. Albania. I mean, what have they done? Like, what? So Albania, right? And we all know, if you live in the United Kingdom, you do. Yes, you do, good sirs and ladies and gentlemen, right? Albanians they have a very particular skill set when they come to the United Kingdom. And a lot of people are saying, I wouldn't say this, guys, because I don't want to get arrested. But Albanian organized crime gang plead guilty to 1 million burglary series. Now, you've got these guys here who are Albanian, you know, and all the rest of it. And all you have to do is look at the mainstream media. And there are a lot of Albanians in British jails. So now you're thinking like, are all these NATO members so great and fantastic? No, they're not. And Trump is right. He's right. Right, Theo's back. Right, Theo's back. Hang on a minute. Hang on, Theo's back. Right, Theo. Right, hang on. I banned him. He's gone now. He keeps coming back, right? They keep coming. Right, look. If I said I'm not going to ban people, but I just banned him. I feel bad now that I've banned Theo. I've not put him in timeout. I've absolutely banned him. And I mean, no disrespect, you know. I mean, no disrespect to Theo, but please show some respect to everyone else, right? Literally, just show respect. It really winds me up. And I get it, you know, and I actually, like, you know, some of the things that Theodore said, I actually agree with him. But the fact is, he wants to go nasty, and he wants to go harassing, he wants to not be polite. And I don't like people that are not polite, guys. I don't like people that are not polite. Right, listen, I'm going to run in the house. I'm going to have a wee. I'm going to get myself a carbonated drink, and then I'm going to be right back. So can you guys wait here? Can you guys wait here for like, I think I can do this in under a minute. Can you wait there for 1 minute? Can you please do that? Привет, спасибо большое. Right, let me jump down and get the, I don't piss on my hands. Michael, it's absolutely fantastic that you do not wee on your hands. Neither do I. I don't wee on my hands either. Helen is saying he talks the talk, then doesn't specifically say it. That's brain fry stuff right there. He's played everyone as a fool. Who are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about, Helen. Helen261, who are you talking about? Silly Gallardi is saying NATO is absolutely is. Silly Gallardi, you are 100% right. NATO is an absolute joke. It's over. You know what? And that is the heading on here. You know, the alliance is over. The alliance is done. It's finished. It's over. And look, I think Trump is absolutely right to cut. Can you imagine? Look, for those of you guys who've been following me for a while, right? I wouldn't say I'm American. I'm not American first. I'm Britain first. But I understand. I understand that. Can you imagine? Sorry, let me go at this at a different angle. Can you imagine, right? You are the United States, right? You're, I don't know, 82nd Airborne, 101st Airborne. You're a US Ranger, US Marine, Force Recon, whatever, you know, and you're seeing all these, and you go to a meeting, right? And you go to a meeting, and they are, you know, there's all these other NATO members there, and you're all told that you're equal, you know, that the US is equal to Albania, that US 82nd Airborne are equal to the Albanian Airborne Forces. You know, let me just Google. I'm not picking on Albania. It's just the first one. I'm just Googling this. Albanian Armed Forces. Right, hang on. Let me re-Google this. Let me Google Albanian Airborne Forces. Fucking hell. Okay, right. Okay, stop. It gets worse. It gets worse. And I'm agreeing with Trump even more, right? And I'm finding this out in real time. So, what I was going to say, and I can't, and I'll look, guys, this is absolutely hilarious, right? So, what I was gonna say is, can you imagine being like US 82nd Airborne, right? And you go to a meeting and you're there talking to Albanian, the equivalent Albanian Airborne Forces, right? Knowing that they've never done an operation and a lot of them are criminal gangs and you kind of don't trust them, but you're being told that you're all equal, right? I just Googled Albanian Airborne Forces and AI is telling me, right, Albania does not maintain a dedicated airborne forces division. So like that you know, that analogy doesn't even make sense, right? So I don't even know. You guys can see where I'm going, right? Imagine the United States military who are doing all the fighting, and they're pushing forwards, they're taking and breaking, they're doing all the hostage rescues, they're taking down the bad guys, and then, hello, I'm Albanian, I'm equal. I want something. We're all equal. Look, all right. They're not. All militaries are not equal. All right. Trust me. All right. They are not. Or maybe even Luxembourg. Maybe I don't even like. Has Luxembourg even got a military? Hang on. Luxembourg Airborne Forces. Honestly, honestly, Trump is so right with this, right? Luxembourg does not possess an independent airborne forces component. Nope. So Luxembourg they don't have airborne forces either. All right. So do I need to keep going? I'm not going to embarrass anyone else, guys. I'm not going to embarrass anyone else. Latvia. One of my friends went to Latvia. Or was it Lithuania? I can't remember whether it was Latvia or Lithuania. One of my friends went on a parachute jump. Did some cross training. I was in Latvia or Lithuania. Now I've seen it. I think it might be Lithuania. And he did a parachute jump, right? And things were so bad. The parachute, so when you go over there and you do these exercises, the British parachute, look guys, just so everybody knows, I've got my American wings. I've jumped American kit. When you do a parachute jump in another country, you take British PGIs with you, parachute jump instructors, and they're part of the RAF, and they will assess things and make sure they're safe, right? The parachute jump instructors said it was so bad, they're never going back to the country again. This was either Lithuania or Latvia, right? The guy, he came out, and you have to wear the whole kit to get to qualify, right? So the guy came out, and I can't remember, he's a diving instructor now. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but he's a diving instructor now. Anyway, so he came out, and they were using C-130s. So he came out and he jumped out of the aircraft, right? But the parachute was no, stop. Let's go. Let's wind this back, right? Let's wind this back. The parachutes that they had on were so bad that this guy was coming around and he had like a spatula and he was pushing the parachutes back in as they were. Honestly, it was wild. Anyway, this guy, he jumped out. What's his name? I can't remember his name. I actually know him really well because I did my Paddy open water diving with him. Anyway, so he jumps out of the aeroplane, right? The first thing, his AK, I think it was a 74, his AK-74 got stuck in, AK-74 got stuck in the door, right? So his AK got stuck in the door. So the parachute, the Lithuanian loadmaster just kicked him out, right? Literally, foot on him, kicked him out. For whatever reason, he was doing static line, so the parachute did not deploy. So now he's HUPRA. I don't know what HUPRA stands for. If somebody wants to Google HUPRA, H-U, hung up parachutist, raw. I don't know what it stands for. So basically, you've got the aircraft flying, right? You've got a cable coming out of the aircraft, and you've got the guy dangling on the back of it, right? So now he's in the turbulence. So the Lithuanians attached another parachute onto the top of his parachute. They cut him free, right? They cut him free. So he's falling now out the sky. He's got two canopies above him. Neither of them would open, right? Neither of them would open. So he looked up and he was telling me, and then so he had to pull his reserve. So he pulled his reserve, right? Honestly, it's so like when he tells it, it's so funny. So now he's falling down at maybe like 7,000 feet, and his two canopies above him, neither of them had opened and let him come a safe landing. And he's got his reserve. So he's pulled his reserve out and his reserve wouldn't open. So he's trying to flick his reserve. You know, like you do bed sheets. He said, I'm trying to flick my reserve. Anyway, the reserve finally opened and he landed relatively safely. Anyway, so when we're talking about other NATO countries having sophisticated militaries, the reality is they just do not. And Donald Trump is absolutely right. Oh, and Lisa Jane. Oh, Lisa Jane has sent a super, and she's saying Starmer to pull out of the Chagos Islands deal. Right, let me get this up because this might be some breaking. Well, this is some breaking news. Right, so this is from 30 minutes ago. I've spelt it wrong. So this is from 30 minutes ago. Keir Starmer. Right, I'm just going to share this with you guys real quick. Thank you for that, Lisa Jane. I'm just going to share this with you guys real quick. So it does look like... according to the Telegraph. However, it was delayed following a Tory motion tabled on Friday morning urging postponement of ratification to prevent potential violations to international law. Look, it's ridiculous. The whole Chagos Islands thing is so ridiculous. Only David Lammy could have envisioned this, right? Only David Lammy could have envisioned this. Imagine you own a house and you've got a tenant in there, right? This is how ridiculous it is, right? This is how absolutely ridiculous it is, right? Imagine you own a house, right? And you have a tenant in there. And you go to that tenant and you say, excuse me, I know you've been renting this house for me. You've not got a problem. You're paying me and you don't have any problems with it. I don't have any problems. But can I give you this house? And your tenant says, what's the catch? And you say, oh, no, there's no catch. I think I should give this house to you because you've been paying rent for so long. And the tenant goes, no, I smell a rat here. He goes, oh, no, don't worry. If you still want to live there, I will pay you rent. Hang on a minute. So let me get this right. You want to give me the house? Yes. And then you want to pay me for living here? Yes, that's exactly the deal that I want to do. So it's ridiculous. Now, news out, as Lisa Jane is quite rightly put in, the Chagos Island looks like it's it looks like it's over. It does look like it's over, but I don't. Let's see what happens because there's been a motion to stop the ratification. And what's that guy? You know the guy? What's his name? The guy who said that it's only women and children coming over on boats. That guy, he was saying that we can't stop it now because it's all gone through. Honestly, we have a political class in the United Kingdom that their buffoonery, the levels of buffoonery are phenomenal. They are, guys. Levels of buffoonery are phenomenal. Philip Gray saying, did anyone ask the people who live there what they want? No, they didn't. Now, to put this on in context, that's what I think is going to happen. Well, that is what's going to happen with go on. That is what's going to happen with Greenland. I'm just, that is what's going to happen with Greenland. Donald Trump's going to come out there and he's going to. Oh, give me a second, guys. Give me a second. 2 seconds. The Greenland deal is quite simple. Donald Trump is going to offer each person in Greenland a load of money, give them the choice, give the people of Greenland a choice. Oh, look, all these people waving the flags with solidarity? Let's see how loyal people are when they get offered 150 grand. Let's see how loyal they are. Let's see where their loyalties lie. Right, listen, guys, I am going to be closing this. Hang on, give me a second. Hello, mate. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. 2 minutes. Hello. Sorry about that, guys. Right. Yeah, so nobody has asked the people in Chagos what they want, but the reality is, if you was to ask the people of Chagos, do you want to be do you want to be part of Mauritius or do you want to be part of the United Kingdom? They're going to choose the United Kingdom, aren't they? I don't know what the benefits. That's mean. That's mean. I shouldn't have said that. I don't know what the support Mauritius. Do you know what? Let me have a look. What military Mauritius? Mauritius military. Yeah, okay. It gets worse. Right, look, some of the tropes I say on this channel, right? Violence is the ultimate currency, and the military dictates that violence, right? I've just asked AI what military Mauritius has. Mauritius does not have a traditional standing army. So they don't have an army. They don't have any military. They don't have any tanks, bombs, trains, planes, automobiles. It's ridiculous, okay? So if you think that violence is the ultimate currency, yeah, then yes, of course, Mauritius are going to want to stay with the United Kingdom. Right, April, Lord of language. I can't, guys. I can't keep looking at these militaries. It's so funny. You know, and when Donald, look, guys, in fact, you know what? Let me jump out there. Let me jump out there and get this closed down. Hang on. April Lee is saying, US, all the basic foods, etc., are being cleared off the shelves, and now it is a state of emergency due to the storm. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning, April. I'm going to talk about that storm because there's a huge storm heading towards the United States. Right, listen, guys. Yes, zombie. It does. Do you know what? I'm going to leave this on as the final comment. The United Kingdom does absolutely need a constitution. We do not have a constitution. Here in the United Kingdom, we are folly. We are folly to interpretations by legal experts, and those legal experts may or may not have political motives. But the crux of this live stream has been this, ladies and gentlemen. I am the world's foremost leading expert on Afghanistan, on NATO troop movements in Afghanistan. Anybody says anything different to me, they are wrong. NATO troops in general did not go on the front line. The reality is, when Donald Trump said this, he wasn't talking about British, he wasn't talking about Canadian troops, he was talking about the rest of them. Because how can you go on the front line if you don't have a military? And that is the sad fact. Right, guys, I'm going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic and beautiful as always. Silly Galadi is saying Shabbat Shalom, and I'm saying Shabbat Shalom to her as well. I think that's like, is that cheers? I think that's cheers. I don't know. I'm just your regular Afghanistan expert. Thank you for all you guys who've sent supers to help the roof repair, because it all needs to come off. I'm going to have to redo it. But I bid you good evening, and I will be back on tomorrow morning at 10. Yes, I will, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10. I bid you good evening.